Sylvia's given us her perspective when it comes to, our inner guide. And one thing that's relatable, I guess, for myself and many other Kenyans out there is we know the power of the Holy Spirit in our hearts. And you don't even have to be a Christian to know that there's an inner guide in your heart and in your life. You know that there's a holy voice.
Yeah.
Calling the shots in your life. You're not just out here like a turd in a toilet waiting to be flushed.
No.
Somebody's actually guiding your life.
Yeah.
And for me, I empathize with people who've gone through so much stuff this year, people who've lost their loved ones, lost jobs. You've had to get into another career that you didn't even see yourself in. Right? It doesn't mean you have to give up in life on this whole experience, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah. So you gotta be still.
Me too as a part of it.
Exactly, isn't it? And the human experience is part of it.
Yeah.
Like apparently this is it just is it is what it is. We have to go through this human experience.
Yeah.
Now, Sylvia, once again, karibu sana.
Thank you.
As we wrap up the conversation, I'm curious for guys who are seeking clarity, in terms of, protecting their emotional safety. They've been through so much.
Yeah.
Right? You're working in a toxic space. You live in a toxic family. Home.
Yeah.
I don't know, the news thing that we've already discussed. Your habits are also not making sense. You're kind of addicted, just the way you give us your personal story. You're addicted to maybe junk food, alcohol, drugs. Your routines are also not so good. You're sleeping till late. You feel like you're lazy. How can they create more clarity and purpose in their lives? Because these guys are just like, what, Kev, I'm going with the flow, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't handle all these things happening out here. I don't even care whatever happens to me. And I'm just like one day at a time.
Yeah.
The
day has started, it's come to an end.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
What would you tell these guys?
I'd say, first and foremost, you are not a mistake. Nobody is a mistake. And there's so many things that everything that we go through as an experience has a hold on us, but it doesn't have to define us. Like the things that you go through, good and bad, because don't have to define you. You need to live life. I found that there's a way, there's a liberty that comes with living life with open hands. And that's not always easy. It feels safer to hold on to things. Like it feels safer to define yourself with the pain that maybe you've gone through all your life. I've always, like, my mom was horrible to me. So, that's why I'm the way I am.
Yeah.
Or that's why I'm here.
Well, that's the only story I know.
Yeah, that's the story I know. Or life has dealt me a bad card. I was born poor. I was molested, whatever it is. That story that you're holding on to, and everybody has one. Sometimes we think that I once talked to this guy, like a really rich guy.
Yeah.
And he was saying, it's so in that tone of like, I can't, like, it's so sad that people get to, have like I can't, like, he couldn't relate to poor people.
Yeah.
And how they could possibly live. It's like, if I was ever poor, I don't even know how poor people exist. And I told him, which is what I want to retaliate today, is everybody, whether rich, poor, regardless of whatever is going on with your life, everybody is going through positive experiences and negative experiences. The only reason yours feel so horrible, it's because they are yours. Like only you carry them. Nobody else is experiencing them the way that you are. But that doesn't mean that the other person that you're looking at and saying, oh my gosh, I wish my life was like that, is not going through their own pain and trauma and things that they are working through. Nobody in this life, we may not be equal in everything. There are people who have more pain. There are people who have more money, less money. There's scales to it. But there's nobody who's in a perfect bubble.
It's true.
Nobody. So first of all, remind yourself that. Then change, maybe not change. Start to work. Start to reframe the narrative that you've told yourself. And it doesn't even, it's a narrative, not because it's not true, but because stories have angles. Like if you even watch a movie, when something horrible happens in a movie, like you can see like the antagonist, the bad guy, maybe kill somebody. Sometimes the movie will give you a perspective of why the bad guy did what he did. So even in your own story, the villains in your story have a perspective that you don't necessarily have, and you may never get. But you need to know that there's that perspective. Reframing is about asking yourself, how else can I look at this? And as you do that, it's in very minimal dosage. And if you can, with the help of a therapist, then you're able to change the way that you see things. As I said, your outlook is all that matters.
Yeah.
There are people who go through very similar experiences, not the same, but similar experiences, and have different outcomes. Why does that happen?
Yeah.
Because of the outlook. How did you interpret it? How did you interpret the experience? How are you interpreting the experiences that are happening to you?
I think you're absolutely right. I checked some other guy called Joko Willink. He said, for example, he was referring to how there was a time he was in Iraq. He's an American soldier. He was an American soldier. So when they went to Iraq, he lost a lot of his friends in the wars. And then when they came back, most of his friends, they got so traumatized. They ended up being hospitalized. And he managed to heal off of all those things that he went through. It doesn't mean he didn't. It doesn't mean that he doesn't remember all those things. Like he constantly remembers his friends and he misses his friends. Yeah. But he switched his like you said, his attitude and his mindset. Yeah. And he didn't dwell on the past too much. Yeah. There's a lot of lessons to learn in Nini. That experience was very powerful, yes, but he didn't dwell on the past too much. Yeah. And just like you said, for me, what it means is, yes, you probably lost your job. Yes, you probably lost your parent, your brother, your lover. Maybe they died young, Nini. Yeah. It doesn't mean you forget. Yeah. Of course it hurts. Yeah. But just don't dwell too much. Understand that these things happen to humans worldwide. Yeah. Bad things happen to people. And you just have to move on from it. Yeah. Find ways of moving on. Understand that, these things do happen. Maybe we can just learn from them. Yeah. And I think also all these lessons are there to make us better, in the sense that if at all another traumatic experience happens again, we know how to deal with it better. Yeah. Because things will always happen. And then also to offer, when you meet somebody else who's in that spot, you can tell them, this is what I did. Agree. This is what I did. And it helped. I love it. Like, we are made for each other. And I think the worst thing that you can do in such a situation is sit with it alone and imagine that this is just a me thing, which is what the devil tries to do. The devil will always try to isolate you. Yeah. Don't allow yourself to be isolated. Don't allow yourself to ruminate on this pain over and over again without any outlet.
talk to people,
Yeah.
find community, find therapy if you can, and it gets better. It gets better.
2 final questions. I'm always saying 2, but I promise this time it's 2.
Yeah.
The Kenyans of this era, these times that we're living in,
Yeah.
have been very opinionated about the state of our country, the economy, political conversations. Last year we just came off a crazy maandamano. Guys have been kidogo pissed. You know what I mean? From your perspective, what do you think God is trying to tell Kenyans in terms of in terms of all the things that we're doing? Are we being too reactive with life?
Yeah.
And what do you think God's message is, as somebody who's constantly praying, somebody who communicates with God? Because I feel like,
Yeah.
I'm sure, 100%, I'm sure,
Yeah.
there are many lessons we can learn from all these experiences.
Yeah.
What do you think God is saying to Kenyans?
That's that's probably the hardest question of this conversation. What do I think God is saying with everything that's going on in our country? And it's in our country, East Africa. It's like
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And even the world. Let's just say there's a lot of chaos when it comes to leadership, politics, opinions. I think, first I'll say this. Times and seasons are ordained by God. So we are in this time because God is like, this is exactly what needs to be happening.
Yeah. This is not by chance.
It's not by chance. For me, what I sense that's happening in Kenya is several things. One, it's a call for generations to come together. Maandamano, for me, if I think about maandamano, one of the greatest things I'd say maandamano is about a generation saying we're not doing, because it was generational. It was Gen Z saying, what in the crazy is happening, and we're not going to be part of it. We have a stand. We are strong. We can do this. We can arise. For me, it feels like a generational outcry. Ooh, and I'm feeling emotional.
Yeah.
Feels like a generational outcry because I think so often we don't pay attention to younger people. If we think about, because the leaders and the young people are very extreme different generations. And then we have millennials, sisi hapo, in the middle, who, depending on the conversation, you're leaning this way or this way. I'd say Maandamano was about a generational outcry of injustice because they are experiencing the results of the injustice the most. They're educated, they're smart. They don't have jobs. Millennials, we have jobs. Gen Z, and they're coming out of campus in drones. They don't have work opportunity. They don't have businesses. The business environment is not friendly to them. So it's like, what is there for me? And the political class in this nation has not been challenged for a very long time. We've been in a status quo. So what is God saying? I think God is saying that there's a generational conversation that needs to happen, and there needs to be resolutions that come out of it that allow for there to be peace, for everybody to feel heard and seen and actually taken care of by the nation that should be doing it.
Wow. That's
one. The second thing, when it comes to the being opinionated, it's one of the things that's so great about Kenyans, but it's also one of the things that's like a blind spot or like a pitfall. Because because we are prone to complaining, or we propagate the negative conversations a lot more than any other positive one, which is, it's human nature. But then, as you know, the Bible says that the power of life and death lies in the tongue. So we can't continue to say horrible things about our parents, about our institutions, about government, about everything. We have horrible things to say about everything that's existing and imagine that good things will happen.
Wow.
We have to check what you're saying. That life is in the power, like life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
So we need to be more positive. Let's celebrate what's working more. Let's champion for positivity a lot more. And I truly believe that we'll see a turnaround because of the unity of what you're speaking.
Damn. Well said. That's actually that's so true. The power of the tongue.
Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself, sorry? What have you learned about yourself?
Yeah.
Ever since you became very spiritual, ever since.
First of all, I'm not very. I don't know if I'm.
I feel
very
like you're
spiritual.
Okay. I don't even know how. I don't have the right words to describe you. But since you did the inner work,
I'm still doing the inner work. I can tell you for a fact.
Right.
Just this week.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
Nimejita mkamkutano.
I like your honesty.
Inner work does not end.
Yeah.
And I've been asking myself, Sylvia, do you really love yourself?
Really?
Can you imagine?
What?
I look so well put together.
Yeah.
But I'll just
fancy
say,
life. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's so much. I'm still in the chaos.
Okay, let me rephrase. What are
Yeah.
you learning about yourself?
Right now,
Yeah.
what I'm learning about myself is that I'm capable. I'm learning that I think I've come off a season where I felt so, the way other people can see things, like what other people see versus you what you see, they don't match.
It's true.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm learning that I'm capable and leaning into what God needs me to do with these gifts and talents that He's given me. I don't think I've explored half, even quarter. I've not even, I feel like I've been in a season of growth.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm coming into a season of expression more.
Nice.
So that's where I'm at.
Profound. I actually think you need to have your own podcast or something. Just like you were saying off air.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So for folks who want to share your story, partner with you in one way or the other, how can they find you, or where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram.
Yeah.
My handle is Sylvia Mundia. That's SYLVIA MUNDIA.
Yeah.
DM me and let's chat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the holidays, by the way?
Family.
Yeah.
I think it's already started. I've been already in family functions. I think mostly just that. Family time. Family time, rest.
Yeah.
Need a break.
Yeah, we need to start resting for real.
Yeah,
What?
we need to start resting.
This hustle
for
culture is a
real.
bit too much.
Hey, it's a lot.
Do you think it's a bad thing or a good thing?
The hustle culture. Hustle culture, first of all, as Kenyans, I don't think we can we can't stop it. We're
part of our
built
DNA
like
for
that.
life. Yeah,
we are
for real.
built Kenya.
But apparently Gen Zs are not about that energy.
But Gen Z, I think the hustle culture is different for different generations.
Oh, interesting.
So Gen Z,
yeah,
they're about their creativity, their art, their what. I feel like now that's a whole other conversation. But I feel like the greatest, I feel like one of the things that we need to start exporting and seriously, which I think is something also God has placed in my heart a lot, I have a burden for it, is how to monetize creativity. We are so creative. I mean, the dances, the comedy, the vibe. We need to package our vibe and be able to sell it for money.
Exactly, yeah. and the guys were actually making a killing out of it.
Yeah.
Off their own creativity.
In their own creativity.
Exactly.
The systems need to support it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming through. You're such a vibe. I've learned a lot.
I've enjoyed this.
Exactly. My biggest takeaway, by the way, of this conversation tonight is staying still.
Yeah.
And listening to your inner voice. For me, that's the Holy Spirit, just like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything will be fine. I mean, the human experience will always be there.
Yeah.
You got to go through the ups and the downs, but that doesn't mean you're not guided. Right?
Exactly.
I love it. So once again, thank you so much, Sylvia, for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Johnny Gill with Lady. I love it. It's 9 p.m. Twendekazi. Good evening.